Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this week's session of the Pulse. Before we start, again, just to make sure everyone can hear me and everyone can see my screen, right? I think we're good there. And what a week we've had. For those of you that don't know us, my name is Maria,
I'm Tim.
and we are going to talk a little bit about what happened last week and take a look at what we can watch for next week.
Maria, even low float stocks were moving last week. So we talked a little bit about that last Sunday that we started to see some ECYTs, and there was a couple more last week, which continued into this week. So even the low float players were happy because they had about a month where they didn't see a whole lot, 10% movers, 20, 30%. But now we're getting back into those 100% supernovas. So anyway, I'll get to those in a little bit.
Perfect. Last week, we talked a little bit about being prepared for more volatility than we were used to. And this week, volatility did not disappoint us. We had all kinds of headlines that moved the markets. Cohen resigned, Trump tariffs, jobs data, and even a surprising pacifying gesture by North Korea's Kim Jong-un. All of that led to the major indices posting a weekly win. Crude avoided its second straight weekly loss after a surprise rally on Friday. That rally was in part due to the rig count falling for the first time in 7 weeks. Gold managed to post its first win in 3 weeks despite geopolitical uncertainty easing a little bit. Friday's Goldilocks jobs report showed strong jobs growth while keeping inflation concerns at bay. U.S. Treasury sold off in response to the jobs report, leading to the Nasdaq's first record close since the beginning of February. The Dow closed the week strong, up 440 points on Friday, while the S&P ended the week up 1.7%, roughly 3% off its record high of 2873. Economically sensitive groups like financials, tech, industrials, and materials finished with weekly gains, while countercyclical spaces like consumer staples, utilities, and telecom services showed relative weakness. So let's go ahead and get into the fun stuff. Tim talked a little bit about some of those low float stocks, lower price stocks running. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of those.
Yeah, I start with the ECYT. That's one we had talked about last Sunday, and to watch for continuation this week, and it did. It did. Let's see here. Yeah,
It
I mean, look at
definitely
that
did.
week.
This is actually a
With some
2-week chart. So for the past 2 weeks, it's just a slight little stair step up, right? We got a low of
yeah.
390 and a high of 980. Sold off on Friday a little bit, but still, a decent run.
Well, look at ZSAN too. That was another one that this week just said, we're going for it. I know we had a lot of people trade that this week, which I've seen a lot of gains come out of that. African Emporium, several people collected, a few bucks on that one. A few bucks a trade. I'm talking about not a few dollars in profits, but a few dollars in, it going up so much.
Right. Absolutely. That was also a nice move. Again, kind of sold off a little bit on Friday, but if you're looking at the week, still quite, well off that low. That low was 682. And after hours close was 1765. So really, really nice.
Yeah, that's a triple. Pixie, that ran for a couple of days. I believe it sold off on Friday afternoon as well. But Pixie, we had some people that played PIXY.
Absolutely. But again, if you notice, like there is a little bit of a pattern. All of these, even the ones that sold off, they're still closing above, their pre-run start like low, right? So it's not like and I guess for me, what that shows is that there's a little bit of strength in these small caps right now.
Look at NETE. Pull that one up.
There you go. Pre-market high $12.10. After hours close 1024. So not bad. Not bad at all.
Um, Here's one that got flow. ACHN, Maria. That one actually had some flow with it as well. You don't get, we don't see a lot of flow with these things, the smaller ones, but ACHN actually did, and just a pretty chart as well.
I'm getting that flow pulled up for you. Let's look at historical.
Yeah, not that this
Yeah,
means it's going to go up, but it's just interesting for me to see a pretty chart on one of these and to see flow with it. Just it definitely piques my interest a little bit more for sure.
absolutely. And this chart is actually, I like that nice steady climb. Look at that.
Yeah,
That's a
nothing
really nice
crazy,
chart.
nothing erratic. Yeah, I liked that one. eBio, I liked the chart on EBIO. Uh, that was another one that I was just like, wow, pretty chart. Um, just slow and steady kind of thing. Now again, I'm not saying these are going to continue, but it was just an impressive week with the lower float stocks.
Absolutely. That actually hit its high in after hours, huh? $1.30.
Yeah.
Started at 97 cents. Very nice.
Um, One more of these. I've got a couple down, but um, pull up pull up NIHD as well. Let's pull that up.
Very nice. Was there news associated with this that we know of?
I don't know.
They're reporting, or they announced that they're going to report their earnings, or did they already announce? Oh, they did announce. That's what it was. So they had ER on the 8th pre-market, it looks like, and ran nicely, kind of
Pretty
midday.
much all day. Yeah.
Yeah, up until midday.
So there was a couple of them. There was another one, PDLI, PTI. We don't have to pull those up, but I know one of those had earnings as well. I'm watching that for next week. That was PDLI and PTI. Um, let's see. Going to bigger stocks. MU first play out of the gate Monday morning. I mean, the very first play, and within like 20 minutes, we clocked 80% on that one and traded it a few times that day. I know you got back in a few times that week. I did not, but that was the first play that we announced in the options room Monday. We had even trial members hit MU, so that one was gorgeous, and a new 52-week high on
Yeah,
MU.
multi-year high. Not an all-time high, but a multi-year high. It's not been that high in
Multi, I hear you.
yeah,
Right.
in a long time.
Uh,
I played MU on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday morning. I sold, and I don't think I got back in. I may have scalped it on Thursday. I don't remember. I know I did not play it on Friday, but I like where this held well into the 50s.
also, Monday we had got out of, we were swinging cat from last week. We talked a little bit about that Sunday. We got out of that Monday with a nice profit as well on cat. And then Tuesday, Intel. We'll get back to cat here in a second because we're actually played it again. But Intel was at least the first one that Tuesday that had some new members that was their first options trade. They bought the April 20th 50s, and we had some trial members play this one too. And that was a pretty week. Just new all-time highs, higher lows, higher highs, at least in what I'm looking at on your chart right there.
And a lot of flow. Still seeing a lot of flow. Let me get that pulled up so you can see that.
Tons of flow in Intel. Um, I mean, that one's been getting flow for a couple of weeks now, just steady.
And even if I were to just filter out the whites, like the white
I
alerts
mean,
on it, look at that. So
yeah, I
the
mean,
ninth
you see a
Friday,
few puts, but nothing major.
exactly.
And then last week too, you and Namish killed BLK Tech Money. I call it, Tech Money Namish. I didn't get to play that one because I forget I had conference calls that morning when y'all got in or whatever, and I didn't know it till, and then I thought I was chasing it and it kept going and kept going. Um, so I know y'all got that one in what the fives and out in between 15 and 16 somewhere. That's not even a
Yeah.
name I normally pay attention to, but that was a good call on Tech Money's part there. That BLK,
Oops, that was a
that was
gorgeous, gorgeous
insane.
play. I was looking for 1 year. There we go. Yeah, still has a little bit room to go too. You look at
Well, I
that.
think y'all got back in, didn't y'all?
We
Didn't
did.
y'all get back in on that one? Yeah.
We did. Just a weekly. Next week's we picked up some calls for next, or I picked up one actually, just because I wasn't sure how tomorrow would look. Um, but yeah, we did buy again, and that is just, a short-term swing, but
And
really
for
nice.
anybody that really nice, to anybody that didn't look at Namish's PowerPoint, Namish Tech Money, sorry, his PowerPoint last Sunday, you guys missed out if you did not see that. And Vishal, he had McDonald's and several more on there that were going to be killers this week, and McDonald's just slaughtered it all week.
Yes.
Probably not done. That's one that I know we do have some people in that one. Um, and heck, Maria, I'm gonna let you talk. I've been rambling here.
Okay, so let's see. It looks like, well, one that I played quite a bit, LRCX. We have to talk about LRCX. So LRCX, ER play. We what day did we sell that, Tim? Tuesday or Wednesday? Was it Wednesday?
We sold on Wednesday. No, I'm sorry. We sold Thursday morning.
Thursday morning we sold it. I swung calls from Thursday into Friday as well, and I sold them early and got back in, and I sold most of them right before the close, and I'm holding just a small position in them
That
over the
one's
week.
not an ER play. Their ER comes out middle of next month.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. For some reason, I thought they had announced. That's my mistake.
No, you're thinking about Bison. You're thinking about
You're
BZ
right.
then.
You're right. So LRCX is one that was really, really, it was a really strong week for them. A lot of people in the room played it. Monster Day on Friday hit a high of 226.08. So I'm definitely watching that one for some continuation tomorrow. Autodesk ADSK. Autodesk holding that ER run, right? So that ER, I should not run, but ER spike that it had after ER, that one I know for a fact did have ER. After that ER, still holding above those
Well,
levels, which I like.
that was one too that Tech Money Mr. Wood actually said, you know what, I'm gonna play 130s YOLOs because if it gap fills, it's gonna rock. So everybody was getting out of those. I believe I want to say it was Wednesday morning. Can't remember for sure, but I'm pretty sure it was Wednesday morning. Because I think we released Tuesday night, and then we bought when it was about 1:33. We announced in the room, you know what, this isn't done, and then we caught a very nice move off of it. We did sell that. We were going to swing it, ended up selling it, but it did exactly what we had discussed, which was run up, consolidate for a day, and run up and set new all-time highs again, which it did on Friday.
Yes, it did. So again, another one I'm watching for continuation next week. Win. How much fun was Win? That was a lot of fun. I actually, I believe it was on Wednesday. Actually, let me pull up the flow. There were a bunch of 200 calls that came in on Win. I didn't go as far out as they did on those. Let's see if I can find them. Maybe they were in the white ones. So 3-8 on Thursday. There was 200s that came in. That was on the bid, on the ask right here. And I picked some up for April. I ended up selling them Friday morning. But Win was also definitely a mover. I like, again, just that, that it's holding the gains fairly well. And let's see, what else were we watching for next week? Netflix. From last week for next week. Netflix. Geez, it's been one of those days. Talk about a monster day. Look at that. Let's see if we can get a one day pulled up. That was a beautiful day. Very nice day on Friday. Closed at an all-time high, 331.44, and held it after hours too. I think that there's a lot of bullishness still in Netflix, even though it's really, really high. A lot of people are still liking Netflix a lot. It's one that I will look to scalp. I don't know if I want to, buy it longer term just yet. I'd rather buy it on a pullback, but I'm definitely liking the scalps on it.
I
Then
will
after,
scalp it, but as far as I'd have to see the next DR because the run it's had. I mean, it's hard for me. I'll scalp it, but as far as holding it overnight, it kind of scares me at this point. Not that it won't go to 400. Who knows? I'm just saying for myself, just what a run. Jeez, what a run.
absolutely. Then Baba back around that 190 level. This is one of Vishal's favorites. I'll scalp Baba. It's hard for me to hold it for too long. I did hold it overnight one night. I think it was Wednesday night and I sold it Thursday morning. So not a huge scalp, but it was enough. And Baba, I want to watch because I do think that, this will move higher at some point.
The most
So
undervalued company in the world anywhere is Baba. And to me, I mean, that's my opinion, right? That's don't go trading off that. But if North Korea, here's the problem. It's in a communist country next to North Korea, a communist country where a lot of shit happens. But if everything's calm over there, Baba could run. It's just if there's no big trade war between Trump and China, which I don't believe there will be really, but if everything just stays calm over there, and especially if North Korea calms down, we could see some Baba hit some all-time highs. I mean, I love Baba.
I do too. I really do. Tesla. So Tesla was one that we played last week, and we tried to swing it at the wrong time. Got caught in it, and it turned around and ran on Friday towards the close when we pull up the one day. So we swung it and then we sold it. It was Friday, right, Tim?
That was Friday. We
I'm pretty
swung it
sure
and
that was
sold it.
Friday. And it hit a high of 328.49. On Monday, the White House has preliminary plans to hold a meeting on U.S. renewable fuel standards. So Tesla's one that we could potentially watch for some movement. I don't know if it will move on, on anything that is announced or if anything will actually be announced, but definitely one to keep an eye on. The other one is WDay. Um, we picked up some contracts on WDay just to swing for a little bit longer. I love this stock. It's a fun one to play. Where's the yearly? Really nice chart. So WDay, I'm also watching for some continuation. And that was everything that I was, wanting to watch for continuation from last week. So let's see. Let's look at what else we have for next week. Here's next week's economic calendar. On Monday, we have the Fed budget. On Tuesday, we have core CPI and the Consumer Price Index. On Wednesday, we have retail sales, the Producer Price Index, and business inventories. Thursday, we have weekly jobless claims and the Home Builders Index. And Friday, we have housing starts, building permits, industrial production, and consumer sentiment on the calendar. And next week's ERs. We do have some good ERs for next week. On Monday, we have QD and Coop. Those are two that I'm probably going to keep an eye on. Tuesday, we have DKS, DSW, HTHT. That one could actually be really interesting. Wednesday, we have DDD, SIG, which is one of Wyatt's favorites, or not favorites. He likes to watch that one. I don't know if it's a favorite, but he does like to watch that one. Thursday, we have some more. We have Amy AMRS, AVGO, Cara, Overstock, Ulta, JBL, and Friday, the one that I'm watching is Tiffany's.
JBL was Teresa's first options trade ever. And it was her first, not only options trade, her first 100%er. AMRS, we haven't ever talked about on here yet. One of both of our favorite. We root for Amy all the time and those longs. Those guys are like just like hardcore over there. We had traded Amy when it was trying to get back to that dollar from about 65 cents, 70 cents to that dollar 10, and then it had to hold it for 10 days to hold its listing. We had played it all through that. And just fell in love with the board and the community over there. And I mean, actually, it looks pretty decent lately anyway, just in general. So I love Amy. Cara, I'll definitely be watching on that list Thursday. DG's fun. Ulta's always fun. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely still some ERs next week. We all dread the end of ER season because it's like, that 3-week, 4-week period in between where we're like, what do we do? What do we do? Obviously, there's still plays out there, but I'm happy to see that there are still some ERs this week to look at or to watch. I'm definitely looking forward to those. And let's see, there was a couple more for next week that we thought we might want to keep an eye on just in general. We talked a little bit about the strength in tech. And I still think that there are people buying tech, and I think that there's still room for them to move. NVIDIA, again, one of my favorites. If you've ever heard me in the room, you know that I love NVIDIA. Closed at a high of, or well, hit a high of 245.85 on Friday. Nice close, nice strong close. So at least from this this bottom right here.
Well,
So
what is the
definitely going
one
to
you
keep
and
an
have?
eye
But what strike do you and have Vishal have for that conference?
on NVIDIA. We have the April 255.
Okay, for April, not bad.
Thank you, Tommy Tong. Adobe reports on Thursday as well. And yes, Adobe is one of my favorites. I love Adobe. I will say that Adobe is going to have to, let me pull up a yearly on it so that we can see it. I mean, it's beautiful, beautiful chart. Adobe is going to have to, they're going to have to really impress people. I do think that, that Adobe will beat. I think that they will guide well, but I think that they're going to have to really blow it out. I think that not the last ER, it was the ER prior to that, I believe, or maybe even prior to that. They, or maybe it was this one, they ran a lot. And some of that I think is attributed to them moving to a subscription-based pricing system with a lot of their design software. I think that that actually helped them and boosted them. And now that, the majority of their products for creative individuals or people that create content, now that that's already subscription based, I think it'll be interesting to see what they do going forward. But I do think that in order for them to continue running, they're going to have to really come out and impress people. And we have to talk about Amazon because it's Amazon. There's a yearly on Amazon. We'll get the week pulled up. Wow. I completely missed this whole thing on Friday. All of it. Um, I mean, 1578.94 was the high on Friday.
Jeez.
I almost feel like that one. It's like a monster truck. You can't stop. It's not going to stop. It's just going to keep going and going, which is awesome. It makes it a little bit harder to buy way up here just because it's so high. But it's one that I like scalping. It's definitely one that's fun to scalp. And we also have data. So we bought data when was that? Not last week, the week prior, right, Tim?
I
I'm
don't
pretty
remember
sure it was the
when. I
week
don't know if it
prior.
was last Monday or before. I know was down in it a little bit. I think we finally got back green in it. We weren't down
So
much.
we've got this potential. Well, did it pass through? Yeah, it actually did cross. I wasn't sure if it had double topped. It actually, I guess the top of that wick did pass through. I want to see if it's going to continue on Monday. We will be looking to exit that position soon. If it doesn't, if it looks like on Monday, if it opens and it doesn't look like it's going to continue up, we may go ahead and start at least
There,
selling off
there's
some of the other green.
yeah, there's been some flow coming into data though, so I'm not going to panic out of that one too soon. I mean, that's had some flow come
Yeah,
into it, so I'm actually not that concerned with data. I think it'll be okay.
April above the ask. That's actually what we bought off of. So we bought, I believe, I think this came in afterwards, or did we buy off this sweep? We may have bought off
No,
this
no.
sweep that we saw.
Um, what was the date that was bought? 3/5.
March. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's when we got it. And if you look at just Friday, I think there was still some flow coming in Friday. I think you're on historical.
Let's see. Not on Friday,
Okay.
but definitely one that we're gonna watch for continuation. I like those sweeps a lot, and we
Visa, we
will.
bought
Yeah, we have
Visa
Visa.
Friday. A couple of people bought that one with us. I think we closed green on that one.
We did.
Um,
Those closed green.
well, one of the things I'm kind of watching is, the Nasdaq's at all-time highs, but I'm watching for Boeing and some of those, the McDonald's, the Boeings, the Cats. Not that I'm expecting, all of them to necessarily hit 52-week highs, but if any, but you're going to have to put some money somewhere. I'm watching those. Cat, I know we got out of that one too early Friday. That one was my fault. I keep blaming you, but I had you sell that one for us Friday morning. We had grabbed it Thursday. We actually got out of Cat twice last week, but still one I'm watching. That one, Goog hadn't hit 52-week highs yet, and that's in tech, but I'm watching that one. But I think there's some room left in Google. Apple, to me, that needs to hit an all-time high if everything's going to keep going. So that's just some things I've got my eyes on is, Boeing, Cat, McDonald's, Goog, Apple, because I really want to see those participate, like everything else has. So definitely watching that. Microsoft had a just crazy week. Flow coming in that one a whole lot. And it's been coming in for a couple of weeks or longer. I mean, that one just seems to not stop. And Maria, I think you had some stuff you were.
Yeah, we do. So also, what was it? Where did it go? There we go. I didn't mean to play from start, but that's okay. There we go. This week, we have a bunch of conferences, There are four major conferences this week. We have the 38th Annual Cohen Healthcare Conference from March 12th through the 14th. We have the 30th Annual Roth Conference from March 11th through the 14th. We have the JP Morgan Aviation, Transportation, and Industrials Conference from March 13th through the 15th, and the Bank of America Merrill Lynch 2018 Consumer and Retail Tech Conference that runs from the 13th through the 14th. The 30th Annual Roth Conference, that one is actually a pretty big conference. Last year, I believe they had 550 companies participate and over 4,700 attendees. And this year, the featured sectors or companies that will be presenting come from business services, clean tech, industrial growth and solar, healthcare, oil and gas, metals and mining, tech, internet and media, and retail. So there were so many companies reporting that I couldn't really make a list. Just something to be aware of. And if there are certain companies that you kind of like, you might want to Google and see if they are at the Roth conference and see if they've posted or made an announcement about when they're going to be presenting. The 38th Annual Cohen Healthcare Conference, there are a bunch of companies reporting there, or not reporting, that are presenting there. This is just a list with the times of the ones of the companies that I like personally, or the ones that I want to keep an eye on. So the 13th, there's I think 6 companies. There's some on the 14th and on the 15th. We have, so here's your list and here's the times that they're presenting. So keep an eye on them just in case they move. At the JP Morgan Aviation, Transportation, and Industrials Conference, we have, I could not find an agenda. A lot of times the firms hosting the conference won't put out an actual agenda, it's invitation only. So we usually find at least what companies will be there. So the ones that I saw that I might want to keep an eye on are listed here. We have CSX, KTOS, Dow, JBlue, AAL, UAL, JCI, and Honeywell. And the Bank of America Merrill Lynch Consumer and Retail Conference, which is the 13th through the 14th again. Here are the companies that will be there. We have Walmart, Kroger's, Urban Outfitters, Yum, Expedia, Priceline, or Booking, whatever they are now, Nutrisystems, and Estee Lauder. And
It's a
there
fucked up
are
name.
all
I'm
Booking.
sorry. Yeah,
I know,
I
right?
don't get it, but
I
whatever.
don't get it either. I don't get it either. Um, Also this week, there are a couple of companies with analyst or investor days. From March 12th through the 13th, EFX will be hosting their analyst investor day. And also tomorrow, NTNX, which is one that we did not look at yet. So NTNX, let me get that chart pulled up. They've had a really good week. They've had a really nice week. So NTNX is actually hosting their analyst investor day tomorrow. So I will definitely be keeping an eye on that one. It has the ability to move. There's a lot of momentum behind it. So far, a little bit. I mean, volume dropped off just a tad, not a lot, but I think that could definitely be a good play for tomorrow. And Daniel is asking about the Qs. Let's look at that. Let me get a daily pulled up. The Qs were fun.
New all-time high there. Yeah, and
Yeah,
Friday we kept saying it would run into the close, and damn, it ran into the close. So
it definitely did. Again, I think that there's still strength in tech. People are still buying tech. Interestingly enough, a lot of your hedge funds and institutions, they didn't really have a lot of weight, or they weren't holding a lot of tech names too much. And we're starting to slowly see some sweeps and blocks come into those bigger names like Amazon and Google, which tells me that institutions are starting to buy again. So I think that there's still room for tech to go.
Microsoft closed a high day. I think it was all-time high actually. I mean, Microsoft was running. I mean, but that's what I say. I'm waiting. I want to see Visa and some of those start catching up. Some of your stepchildren start to catch up a little bit.
Absolutely. So those were the major ones that we wanted to kind of quickly talk about and go over. We wanted to see what questions you had for us today. So send us your questions if you have any, please.
And I can't see them, so Maria will have to tell us what they are because she's got me booted off the thing tonight because she doesn't trust me. That's
Vishal,
okay.
that's not true. Vishal wants to look at MasterCard. Vishal, I like MasterCard. Um, I followed the sweeps on Visa. I actually am holding MasterCard. I have a couple contracts of MasterCard that expire this coming week on Friday. So I'm already in MasterCard, but I do like MasterCard. I mean, I still think it looks strong. Let's look at a yearly on it. Yeah, look at that. I mean, nice little, it hit a high, sold off, came back, attempted it, didn't really get through, came back down, found support, and is making its next leg up. So I think that there's definitely some room to go. And I do like it a lot. Absolutely. It is ripping. I agree. I agree. It's a good one. We have Barbara wants to talk about TXT. So and there was something in Barron's about TXT this weekend. So let me see if I can find what they were saying. They were saying that, I'm sorry, that was TEX, not TXT. I apologize. I misspoke. So TXT, Textron. I know this ticker. I feel like. Are you holding contracts on this one? Yes. And what are you holding? What strike and expiration? I like this one. I like the weekly looks good. Let's look a little. Tim, are you able? Do you see this one? Oops. So
Quite a
watch
low.
for, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely a higher low. I want to look at this a little bit closer. I want to see it get through probably, I mean, it's not that far away. I want to see it get into the 61s. I definitely want to see it get into the 61s. 60 expiring March 16th. Okay, so you have this week's 60s. Are you green on those? Okay, so not green on those. Um, let's watch it on Monday and see what it does. I do think that, you have it moving to the upside. There's a little bit of resistance coming up, but it could get back through. It could definitely get back. It could go through that resistance. So let's keep an eye on it and see if we can get you out of those ones green. Marvell. Brett's asking about Marvell, Tim. You want to take that one?
You know, we played that one into
Okay.
ER, and it looked like it was gonna um not be so hot there for a little bit, but that one's hitting. Didn't it hit all-time highs Friday, or at least 52s after the ER?
I believe it hit
I
a
think. Am
52
I
at
getting that wrong?
25.18. I'm not sure if it was an all-time, but I do know that it was a 52.
Yeah. Is that the one you're looking at right there?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Hard for me to.
there's always been a lot of M&A talk or chatter, I should say. I don't want to say talk, chatter around Marvell. I like the company. It can move, especially if, that chatter starts again. Um, I don't want to buy it. I mean, it's actually, well, 24.35, not bad. If you're looking for a shorter term play or even an intraday play, if you catch it on a day it's showing an upward trend, I think it's a good scalp at the very least, or an overnight hold. Does that answer your question, Brett?
I actually like it. Um,
I do too.
I'm trying to pull up a longer term chart. I won't be able to see mine, but yeah, once it crossed, let me get my studies here.
There's a 3 year, a weekly for 3 years.
Yeah, 2380 is probably somewhere around your support. As long as it holds 2380, I think it's a good shot.
I like it. And Jose is asking about SPR. I'm not as familiar with this one. Oh wow, that's a 3 year on it. Let's look at 1 year. So it took a hit, found a base. Looks like it might be trying to move up. That might be a good play, actually. What do you think, Tim?
I'm not familiar with this company.
Spirit Aerosystems Holdings. They are, let's see. They design, manufacture, and supply commercial aerostructures worldwide. Operates through three segments: fuselage systems, propulsion systems, and wing systems. Oh, Spirit Air. I know this ticker. I'm not as familiar with it, but I've heard this ticker. I don't think I've ever traded it myself, but no position but holding this week or watching this week. I would definitely keep an eye on it. I like it. I think I'm going to put it on my list to watch too. Thank you. Awesome, awesome. SPR. Perfect. And oh, they're a big BA supplier. Tim.
Okay, now that makes some sense. That makes some sense. Well, there's a 7-year backlog over there. It's not one that I know about, but I mean that looks pretty right there. I would want to see it. I'm not chasing it up here by any means, but it's something I might put on my scalp list for sure.
Did you see the yearly on it?
Isn't that what we're looking at?
No, no, that was a week. That
Oh,
was the last week.
uh,
So here's your yearly on it right now. Um, I like it.
okay. Well, that's a lot better. Okay, I see what you're saying now. This is a different chart. It's hard for me to know exactly what you're looking at. No,
Sorry.
that's interesting. I may have to
That is
put this
definitely
on
interesting.
do some more research tonight list.
I agree. Jose, thank you very
If it
much.
if it crosses that
Right up here.
yeah, right there, you could end up in a nice situation.
Yeah. I mean yeah, absolutely. That is really, really awesome. I like this
Good
one a
find.
lot.
Yeah, thanks for
Very
bringing that
good
up
find.
for sure.
I will be looking at it tomorrow for sure. Definitely. What other questions do you guys have? Yeah, Jose, if you're looking at others, let us know. I really like this one a lot.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
So for this coming week, or Disca or Disca DISCA is the one you're asking about, Bopper? I didn't know is there a QA? I
Yeah,
think you may.
SCA. That's one you played
Disca.
recently.
I'm still holding. We're still holding actually, Disca. I like it. I still like it. Here's the year. Let me look at a little bit on the week. So, kind of ran into a little bit of resistance, or well, it shot through and then came back down, but still holding that support level. I know it broke a little bit after hours. I'm going to keep an eye on this tomorrow. These contracts, I believe, are green. Let me double check. No, they might be red, but we have until April. So I think I'm going to let this one run, or not run. I think just going to let this one ride for another week or so and see what it does. Because Disca normally, every time I've played it, I've knock on wood, I've had good luck with it. So I'm going to keep an eye on it and see what it does this coming week. I guess for this week, for this coming week, I know we talked a little bit more about being prepared for volatility and stuff like that. And I do want to emphasize that again. Friday was gorgeous. We had a beautiful day on Friday. A lot of fun, a lot of green. But I do think that we should still, at least be aware that that volatility could still be there, right? We can still get hit with it at any time. So again, that's not to scare anyone or to make anyone panic. It's actually to, hopefully make you guys not panic. So, be aware that we might still see some swings, but it seems like things have started to settle down just a little bit. At least in my mind, I feel like it feels a slightly calmer. I'm excited to see what happens this week.
I'm super super excited for this week. Um, I'm super excited every week, but I'm really excited for this one. I like that close, but that strong close Friday, you might have some, I you might have it, roller coaster around a little bit for tomorrow morning. Um, it was a good week last week. We'll see. Like I say, I'd like to see Visa and McDonald's and Cat and a few more inch on up there. ABBV is another one we own that one. Actually, we got 120s for this week that we've been in for a while. We rode that roller coaster. So a few I'm watching. AMRS, super excited about Amy. ER, rooting for those guys.
Let's look at a
Yeah,
1 year on
just
Amy. I
excited.
haven't looked at it recently. Yeah, look, there's actually a gap. It started a little bit to fill. So we'll see. I think that ER will play a big part in whether or not they actually start to fill that gap. but there's room for it to go. Definitely room for it to go. I like the company. I know that there are a couple concerns on their balance sheet and stuff like that, but a lot of their products are really, really interesting and cool. So I really want to see them do well. Jose is saying that
It's
another one that comes to mind is OSK. Oshkosh. Oshkosh. Oh, nice. Let's look at a year on it. Is this, what am I on? This is the yearly. That could potentially turn. Is this is like Oshkosh Bagosh, like the kids' clothes? Is that what this is? No, this is totally not that. This is they market specialty vehicles and vehicle bodies worldwide. Very cool. I think this is a good one to watch too, Tim. What do you think? Well off that high of 126 cents. Do we
interesting.
know review?
Uh, another one talking about specialty. While we're talking about specialty vehicles, Thor had that all that activity last week too after ER. I know we're still holding the 165s for September. Um, it's the specialty vehicles reminded me of that. Sorry,
Actually,
which also
Thor,
reminds me
let's
of
look at that.
PII.
Right. So Thor on this was on Friday. $2 million sweep, 112,000 or $112,000 sweep coming in, and then I mean it just ran into the close. That was a beautiful close. Really nice close. Wow. So we do have those
Pretty.
longer dated Thor calls too.
That's ones I'm talking about. The
Okay.
September
I'm
165s.
sorry.
We've got
Right.
some closer ones too that that those may be an issue, but
I think Michelle
165s were
actually
looking
tweeted,
good.
yeah.
We were actually up about 60 or 70% on those Friday at the close. So that was good.
Very awesome.
Anybody else got any questions? If not, we'll enjoy our Sunday nights, and if you do, speak up. We'll try to answer them, or I'll try to at least bullshit you for a second anyway.
I think that is all the questions. Thank you guys for joining us on your Sunday evening. We appreciate it. And if you haven't
Most of
subscribed to our
y'all,
YouTube channel, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Maria.
No,
I
you're
thought you
good.
paused there. Most of y'all we'll see in the morning. Can't wait. We had a good week this week, so let's do it again. Maria, sorry about that.
No, you're totally fine. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe at your earliest convenience. We'd appreciate it. Otherwise, we will see you all next week or tomorrow, and stay green. Take care. Good night.
Thanks, everybody. Bye bye.